A rich woman collapsed at a gas station. The broke dad who helped her woke up to a surprise. The old Ford pickup truck coughed and wheezed as Mike Henderson pulled into the Chevron station on Route 34, just outside Columbus, Ohio. The dashboard. Clock read 11:47 p.m., and the fuel gauge needle sat stubbornly on empty. Mike rubbed his tired eyes and checked his wallet. $23 and some change. Enough for gas to get home and maybe a coffee to keep him awake for the rest of the drive. He'd been working a double shift at the construction site downtown, trying to make ends meet after losing his main job 3 months ago. His 8-year-old daughter Emma was staying with Mrs. Rodriguez, their neighbor, who'd been a godsend since his wife Sarah passed away 2 years ago from cancer. The medical bills had drained their savings, and now Mike was barely keeping their small apartment. In Western as he stepped out of the truck, the October night air bit through his worn flannel shirt. The gas station was mostly empty except for a sleek black Mercedes S-Class parked near the convenience store. Mike shook his head slightly. That car probably cost more than he'd make in 5 years. He was reaching for the gas pump when he heard, in a soft thud, like someone dropping something heavy. Mike looked around and saw a woman lying motionless on the concrete near the Mercedes, her designer handbag scattered beside her. "Oh my God," Mike muttered, abandoning the gas pump and rushing over. "Ma'am, are you okay?" The woman appeared to be in her early 60s, well-dressed in an expensive-looking coat, her silver hair perfectly styled even in her unconscious state. Her face was pale, and Mike could see she was breathing, but barely. "Hey," Mike called toward the convenience store. "I need help out here." The teenage clerk inside looked up from his phone but seemed more annoyed than concerned. Mike waved frantically, and the kid reluctantly came to the door. "What's wrong?" the clerk asked, not stepping outside. "This woman collapsed." "Call 911. Mike knelt beside the woman, gently checking her pulse. It was weak but steady. "I don't know, man. My manager says I'm not supposed to leave the counter unattended," the clerk replied, already backing away. Mike felt his frustration rising. "Are you kidding me? There's a woman here who needs help." The clerk shrugged and disappeared back inside. Mike could see him return to his phone. Completely ignoring the situation, Mike pulled out his own phone. A cracked iPhone 6 that barely held a charge. No signal, of course. He looked around desperately. The woman stirred slightly, mumbling something incoherent. "It's okay, ma'am. You're going to be fine," Mike said softly, though he wasn't sure if that was true. He noticed her purse contents scattered on the ground, a wallet, some expensive-looking jewelry, and what appeared to be several $100 bills. In his current financial state, Mike couldn't help but notice the money. For a split second, a dark thought crossed his mind. Nobody would know. He could take just enough to cover rent, maybe buy Emma some new school clothes, But the thought lasted only a moment. Mike had always taught Emma that character was about what you did when nobody was watching. He carefully gathered the woman's belongings, making sure everything was accounted for, and placed them back in her purse. The woman's eyes fluttered open. What happened?" She whispered. "You collapsed, ma'am." "I'm Mike. I'm going to help." "You okay?" He helped her sit up slowly. "Do you remember your name?" "Victoria," she said weakly. "Victoria Ashford. I have diabetes. I think my blood sugar dropped." Mike nodded. "We need to get you to a hospital. Do you have anyone I can call?" Victoria fumbled in her purse with shaking hands. "My phone. I need to call my driver. Let me help you." Mike found her phone, the latest iPhone in a diamond-encrusted case. "What's your driver's number?" As Victoria recited the number, Mike noticed her phone had no signal either. "Ma'am, I'm going to drive you to the hospital myself. My truck's right here." "I can't ask you to do that," Victoria protested weakly. "You're not asking, I'm offering." Mike helped her to her feet. Can you walk? Victoria nodded, though she was clearly unsteady. Mike supported her as they walked to his truck, then helped her into the passenger seat. He grabbed a clean work shirt from behind the seat to use as a makeshift pillow. "I'm sorry about the truck," Mike said, starting the engine. "It's not much, but it'll get us there." Victoria looked around the worn interior, the cracked dashboard, the duct tape holding the passenger door handle together, the photo of Emma taped to the sun visor. "You have a daughter?" "Emma, she's 8. Mike pulled out of the gas station, his fuel gauge still on empty. "She's the light of my life." As they drove toward Grant Medical Center, Victoria studied Mike's profile. "You could have just left me there. Or called 911 and waited for them to handle it." Mike shrugged. "Wouldn't have been right. Besides, what if that was my Emma someday? I'd hope someone would help her. But you used your gas money to help me, didn't you?" Victoria had noticed Mike checking his fuel gauge nervously. "It's fine, I'll figure it out." Mike tried to sound casual, but Victoria could hear the worry in his voice. They rode in comfortable silence for a few minutes, passing through the quiet streets of Columbus. Victoria found herself thinking about her own children, successful, wealthy, but always too busy to visit. When was the last time someone had shown her genuine kindness without expecting something in return? "Mike," Victoria said as they pulled into the hospital parking lot, "I want you to know that what you did tonight... It means more to me than you could possibly understand." Mike parked near the emergency entrance and helped Victoria out of the truck. Anyone would have done the same thing. But Victoria knew that wasn't true. She'd lived long enough to know that genuine kindness was rarer than most people wanted to admit. After getting Victoria checked into the emergency room and making sure she was stable, Mike prepared to leave. Victoria grabbed his hand. "Please, let me give you something for your trouble. Gas money, at least." Mike shook his head. "I don't want your money, Mrs. Ashford. I just wanted to make sure you were okay." Victoria watched as Mike walked away, his shoulders slumped with exhaustion. She noticed him stop at a vending machine, count the coins in his pocket, then walk past it without buying anything. "Excuse me," Victoria called to the nurse. "The man who brought me in, do you know if he left?" "I think he's still in the parking lot, ma'am. Having some car trouble, from what I could see." Victoria looked out the window and saw Mike standing beside his truck, hood up, looking defeated. She made a decision that would change both their lives. Mike woke up to sunlight streaming through the thin curtains of his apartment bedroom. For a moment, he couldn't remember why he felt so exhausted. Then the events of the previous night came flooding back. The truck had finally given up completely. In the hospital parking lot, and Mike had to call Mrs. Rodriguez to pick him up at 2 a.m. He checked his phone. 7:30 a.m. Emma would be getting ready for school at Mrs. Rodriguez's apartment, downstairs. Mike sat up and immediately felt the weight of his problems. No truck meant no way to get to work sites. No work meant no money for rent, which was already 3 weeks overdue. He was reaching for his clothes when he heard voices outside. Looking out the window, he saw a tow truck pulling away from the curb. Where his broken-down Ford should have been, there was now a shiny blue Honda CR-V with a large red bow on the roof. "What the hell?" Mike muttered, pulling on his jeans and rushing outside. Standing beside the new car was a man in expensive suit, holding a clipboard and a set of keys. Behind him stood Victoria Ashford, looking much healthier than she had the night before. "Mr. Henderson?" The man in the suit approached. "I'm James Morrison, Mrs. Ashford's attorney. We need to speak with you." Mike looked between the lawyer and Victoria, confusion evident on his face. "Mrs. Ashford, are you feeling better? And what's with the car?" Victoria smiled warmly. "I'm much better, thanks to you." "Mike, what I'm about to tell you might sound impossible, but I need you to hear me out." Emma came running out of the building, still in her pajamas. "Daddy, whose car is that? It's so pretty." Mike scooped up his daughter. I don't know, sweetheart. This is Mrs. Ashford, the lady I helped last night. Hello, Emma, Victoria said gently. Your daddy is a very special man. James Morrison cleared his throat. Mr. Henderson, Mrs. Ashford would like to offer you a position with Ashford Industries. Vice President of Community Outreach, starting salary $120,000 annually, plus benefits. Mike nearly dropped Emma. I'm sorry, what? Victoria stepped forward. Mike, I've spent my entire life surrounded by people who want something from me. Money, connections, favors. Last night, you showed me kindness when I was at my most vulnerable, and you asked for nothing in return. You used your last dollar to help a stranger. But Mrs. Ashford, I don't have any experience in. You have something more valuable than experience, Victoria interrupted. You have integrity. You have compassion. Those are qualities I can't teach, but I can certainly put them to good use. James handed Mike a folder. The position would involve overseeing charitable initiatives, community partnerships, and employee welfare programs. Mrs. Ashford believes your unique perspective would be invaluable. Mike was speechless. Emma tugged on his shirt. Daddy, what's happening? I'm not sure, honey. Mike looked at Victoria. This is too much. I can't accept this. You can and you will, Victoria said firmly. Do you know what I discovered when I had my security team look into your background? You've been volunteering at the food bank every Saturday for the past year, despite your own financial struggles. You coach Emma's softball team for free. You've helped 3 elderly neighbors with home repairs without accepting payment. Mike felt his cheeks burn. How did you? I'm a businesswoman, Mike. I don't make investments without doing my research. And you, my friend, are exactly the kind of investment our company needs. James pulled out another set of papers. There's also this. He handed Mike a house key. Mrs. Ashford has purchased a home for you and Emma in Upper Arlington. 3 bedrooms, good school district, fully furnished. Mike sat down hard on the apartment steps, overwhelmed. I can't ... this isn't real. Emma was bouncing excitedly. Daddy, does this mean we're not moving away? Mrs. Rodriguez said we might have to move because of the rent. Victoria knelt down to Emma's level. Emma, your daddy saved my life last night. He's a hero, and heroes deserve good things, don't they? Emma nodded enthusiastically. My daddy is the best daddy in the whole world. Mike felt tears welling up in his eyes. Mrs. Ashford, I don't know what to say. Say you'll take the job. Say you'll let me give you the chance you deserve. Victoria stood up, her voice emotional. Mike, I have 2 grown children who barely speak to me. I have more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes, but I haven't felt genuine human connection in years. What you gave me last night, that compassion, that care, it reminded me why I started my business in the first place. To help people. Mike looked at the key in his hand, then at the car with the bow, then at his daughter's hopeful face. What about my background? I don't even have a college degree. You have something better, Victoria said. You have a good heart. Everything else can be learned. James Morrison added, Mrs. Ashford has also established a college fund for Emma. Full tuition to any university she chooses, Emma squealed with delight. Daddy, I can go to college like you always wanted. Mike stood up slowly, feeling like he was in a dream. Mrs. Ashford, I saved your life because it was the right thing to do. Not because I expected anything in return. I know, Victoria said softly. That's exactly why you deserve this. Mike, I'm 64 years old. I've built a billion-dollar company, but I've forgotten what it means to truly live. You reminded me that there are still good people in this world. Let me repay that gift. Mike looked at Emma, who was already pretending to drive the new car. He thought about all the nights he'd stayed awake worrying about rent, about Emma's future, about what would happen if he got sick or injured. He thought about the pride he'd always had in working hard and earning his way. "Mrs. Ashford," he said finally, "I'll take the job, but I want to earn it. I want to prove that your faith in me isn't misplaced." Victoria smiled, tears in her eyes. "I have no doubt you will, Mike, no doubt at all." As the morning sun climbed higher over Columbus, Mike Henderson stood looking at his new life, a life that had changed completely because he'd chosen kindness over self-interest. Emma was already making friends with Victoria, chattering about school and her dreams of becoming a doctor. "Mrs. Ashford," Mike said, "I have one condition. Name it. I want to keep volunteering at the food bank. And I want Ashford Industries to sponsor more community programs. If I'm going to be your VP of Community Outreach, I want to make sure we're really reaching out." Victoria laughed, a sound full of joy and possibility. "Mike Henderson, I think this is going to be the beginning of a beautiful partnership." 6 months later, Mike would look back on that night at the gas station as the moment his life truly began. Not because of the money or the house or the job, but because he learned that sometimes the greatest rewards come not from what we receive, but from what we choose to give. And Victoria Ashford, she found something more valuable than all her wealth. Combined, she found a family. Mike and Emma became like the son and granddaughter she'd never had. And she discovered that the richest life wasn't measured in dollars, but in the connections we make and the kindness we show to strangers who might just need someone to care. The old gas station on Route 34 still stands, and sometimes Mike drives by it on his way to work. He always thinks about that October night when a simple act of kindness changed everything, proving that sometimes the smallest gestures can have the biggest impact. After all, you never know whose life you might save, or whose life might save you in return. The end.
Thank you for watching this story unfold with us here on M&A The Story Unfolds. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new tale. We'd love to know where you're watching. Leave a comment below and tell us what part of the world you're joining us from. Your support means everything. See you in the next story.